With the challenges coming up in the legislature now, there's been a proposal from the governor's office in the budget to cut education substantially. It would make up about more than 70% of the budget cuts that he's looking at, and yet education constitutes about a quarter of the budget overall. Is there any more room to cut in Miami-Dade?
Well, you know, in the business world, we talk about critical mass and cutting to the bone. Basically, the amounts of cuts and reductions that have taken place while preserving the quality of the education have been such that to go much further than what it is right now would really cut into the critical mass and really impair the effectiveness of the schools.
What can the business community do in South Florida, and specifically in Miami-Dade, either through the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, all the different chambers that exist, Camacol, all of those groups, what can they do to help affect positive change for Miami-Dade schools?
Well, I think primarily to lobby on behalf of the school system in Tallahassee and also in Washington. The amounts of cuts that are being contemplated, which are possibly over $200 million, are cuts that are not easily made up simply by local effort. It has to really require government intervention, and to accomplish that you need a strong lobby from the business community across the board. Now, one of the challenges is some of the industries in the business community are also contemplating significant budget cuts, so there's a little bit of a conflict at times. But at the end of the day, education is one of the key pillars of the future of our community, the welfare and the benefit, the value of our community. So if I had to do it in terms of priority, I would put education at the top.
With the session now starting and the governor's budget proposal looking at cuts in education that amount to about 70% of the cuts overall that he's proposing for the budget, Miami-Dade faces what the superintendent says is really a wall that's coming at it. What do you see as potential solutions to try to stem that? And what is your group, your task force, doing in that effort?
Well, you know, I think overall, I think parents have to remember they really do have a voice, and they need to use it. That they are listened to. I know that through your school PTAs, you know, there are mobilized efforts to speak with our legislators. It doesn't take your PTA though. You go and you speak to your legislator. I mean, clearly that impact is significant. I saw what happened in last year when the parent influence had a lot of impact on the teacher performance bill. So I think for parents to go and to speak to their legislators, to go to Tallahassee, March 24th is the big rally on education. If you can get to Tallahassee and be there on the Capitol steps, I think that's very important. I think it's important for parents to educate each other about what's going on. And our committee is trying to say, what are the choices we can make that are the least painful to the classroom? We're not a committee that marches together to Tallahassee. We encourage parents to do that through their PTAs. But we are looking at where we can make the least painful cuts in our school system. So I think it's a twofold message. It's us working together to talk to parents and say, what can we do? What can we do on a Tallahassee level? Mm-hmm. And then what can we do in the county? And so that's where we go out as parent representatives of on this committee, and we say, what would be the least painful to you? What will impact your child the least? So it's multifold, and I wish I had the magic answer. It's a tough time, and I truly believe parents need to stay very vigilant about what's happening in their schools and realize their voice matters.